Welcome back to Odd Socks. The one thing that does happen when you do go away for a small holiday, when you're trying to grow your own fruits and vegetables, especially if you have courgettes, is you end up with a glut. You go away with hardly any courgettes on that plant, and you can come back to very, very big courgettes in just a couple of days. But at this time of year, people are starting to get these as gluts. And there's some really easy ways of doing it. So today I thought I'd show you ways of dealing with your courgettes. Now, one of the best and tastiest ways is actually turning it into a cake. Yes, you heard that right, a courgette cake. Now, you won't taste the courgette as a courgette. In fact, you'll probably be very hard pressed to actually even tell it had courgette in there at all. So for those people who don't like courgette, or you have family members who refuse to eat courgette at all, making this cake might be a good way of getting them to eat their veg without even realising they're doing it. It's great for kids and adults alike. For this first one, I'm going to be doing a lemon and lime. Now, for this recipe in particular, you need about 350 grams of courgette, grated courgette. Now, you can use a food processor to do this. Now, depending on where you are, it's zucchini, summer squashes, or the good old courgette here in Europe. Because courgette holds a lot of water, we need to take some of this water out. Otherwise, your cake batter may actually fail to rise. I've got a clean piece of muslin sheet here. And I'm just going to squeeze out some of that liquid. And as you can see, just a gentle squeeze. All that will leave. Now the rest is really, really simple. So into this mixture, 125 ml of oil. Now this is just vegetable oil. You'll also need a couple of eggs. Now my girls managed to lay this morning, so I've got a couple of eggs spare. £100 grams of granulated sugar. The zest and juice of a lemon. Now these lemons that I've got, they're not in the greatest condition. It's one of the reasons I decided to make this cake, because I don't like waste. But this won't have as much zest on from these lemons. So I'm actually going to replace some of the zest with lime, because I really do enjoy the citrus notes of limes as well. It really does lift that flavour. Now the good thing about this cake, you can do whatever flavour you want. Now you can also make it into a chocolate cake too, which is unbelievably moist and delicious and gooey. But I fancied something a little bit lighter today. Okay, and then the juice of one lemon into this as well. And again, these lemons are quite small. Just make sure you've got no pips. You don't want to be biting down on a bitter pip in your cake. And I'm going to do half a lime with mine on top of that one bit of lemon, because it was so small. Again, lemon and lime really do go well together. In the next step, all you need is 300 grams of plain flour with a teaspoon of baking powder and a half a teaspoon of baking soda. Now I've got that all in one pile. We also need half a teaspoon of salt as well. And I'm going to actually just spread that in so you don't get any big lumps of saltiness in that. Now I'm going to mix that up a little bit so the eggs are dispersed between the courgette a little bit. And then I'm just going to dump my flour with my baking soda and baking powder in. Now all you're going to do is stir this in. You don't want to beat it crazy. Treat it as you would do a brownie mix. But with these type of batter cakes, you're not beating for air. And all you got is all your mixture, your sugar, your lemons, your flour, your eggs. All those ingredients mingling with your courgette. Now you want it as a loose batter, but you don't want it too wet. Now this recipe fills a £2 cake tin, which is pretty much standard that we have in the UK. And you just want to line it. You don't want your cake sticking to that tin when you're trying to turn it out at the end. Now we're just going to pour it in. Now this just goes into the oven between 160 and 180 C for about 75 minutes. So I'm just going to go and pop this into the oven. Now, while we're waiting for that in the oven, this cake has a lovely drizzle on it as well. All you need to make this drizzle is icing sugar and your lemon or lime juice, or a mixture of both. And this will go onto the cake once it's fully cooled, giving it this beautiful sweet citrus note. Now literally it's just 85 grams of icing sugar. And then we're just going to get my other lime. And I'm going to squeeze this one into that. Now it's just about a tablespoon of your citrus notes, your citrus juices that you're using. And I'm going to add in half of this lemon that I've got left over that really does need to be used. I've got my little cake platter that I actually made out of glass a few years ago when I used to work with glass. And it's a hobby I actually do miss. This is my nebula piece. And where it's not perfect, I actually do love it. So with this next step with the rest to finish the cake off, it really does need to be cooled down. But we are going to take another step. Now you wouldn't think there was actual courgette in here, but we're going to take some of our drizzle and we're actually going to just pour this on. Now this is better when it is cool, when there's no heat to this cake at all. But I'm impatient and I haven't got all day to stand around waiting for a cake to cool. If you pour it when it's hot, it just means that it actually may just soak into the sponge a little bit more, making it even more sweeter. I have managed to get hold of some orange sugar. Now this is just a small amount, just to add almost like a sherbet topping. And I've also got some dried fruit from earlier on in the year. And there we have it. One courgette citrus cake. Now it should be lovely and moist on the inside. And even the most hardcore hater of courgettes will not be able to tell that this has got courgettes on the inside. So don't be too ready to give up on your courgettes. There are many, many ways to use them. Again, if this has helped or inspired you in any way at all, why don't you like and subscribe? Leave a comment below of any other flavours that you actually like or any other ideas that you like to use courgettes with. So I shall see you in the next video, where I think I should be pickling some of my gherkins and some of my French and runner beans as well. Take care.